Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the ocean salinity and the various factors which impacts the ocean salinity. So the factors which impact the ocean salinity are evaporation of water and the wind's movement and also the ocean currents. We have also seen that the ocean currents also have the impact in the temperature distribution. And the next one we have is that temperature range is also determining it. What is the temperature range also have some impact in the ocean salinity. So here we are going to look on these factors and we are going to see with various examples that how the ocean salinity varies. And we are looking now towards the factors which impacts ocean salinity. So first of all, we are going to look at the latitudes, how they impacts. Say we are in the tropical regions and tropical regions receives good amount of insolation. That is why the water body or the marginal sea which have lesser size or it is closed marginal sea, then it would be having more salinity compared to the one which is open sea. Open sea would be having lesser salinity. But if we are coming towards the temperate regions, what would happen in the temperate regions? The temperature in the temperate regions is less. So as the temperature is less, there would be less evaporation. So due to the fact that we would be having less evaporation here, the salinity would be lesser. So in case of closed seas also or the smaller seas, we would be having lesser salinity. So depending on the latitude, we are going to see some differentiation here. So we are going to look further various examples by which we can differentiate that which region would be having more salinity and the other which is having lesser salinity. Looking at the map here, we are going to see now that what is the salinity in various parts. So we are going to look at the salinity here in various parts. So let us take an example of Arabian Sea and with that Bay of Bengal. We are going to compare them. So as we know that in case of Bay of Bengal, there are various rivers dumping their water into Bay of Bengal. That's why due to more influx of water in Bay of Bengal, its salinity reduces. And on the other hand, the salinity of Arabian Sea is more because less number of rivers are adding their water to Arabian Sea. Despite the fact of that the both of the sea, Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal at the same latitudes, there is variation in the salinity. So here Arabian Sea will be having more salinity because Bay of Bengal has more influx of water. Next example we are going to see here is Gulf of Mexico and Mediterranean Sea. So in case of Gulf of Mexico, this is at the tropical part, despite the fact that this Mediterranean Sea would get the water from the westerlies also, as the westerlies would be crossing this season would be getting more amount of rainfall. That is why making the Mediterranean Sea less saline than the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico also surrounded by land and that's why more continental part. If more continental part would be there, its salinity would be more. So in this case, Gulf of Mexico would be having more salinity. Now we have the next example is Gulf of California and the South China Sea. We have South China Sea here. As the South China Sea is joined to the Pacific Ocean, its salinity is lesser compared to the salinity of Gulf of California. This is another case as both of them are almost at the same latitude, still there is variation in the salinity. This is Gulf of California and this is South China Sea. Next we have is Baltic Sea and Gulf of Bothnia. So we can see that uh, in case of temperate regions, the salinity of the enclosed sea would be lesser because there is very less amount of less temperature is there. That's why less amount of evaporation would take place. So now looking at this example, as the Baltic Sea would be getting the river water throughout the year, that is why its salinity is lesser than the Gulf of Bothnia, which is present here, Baltic Sea here. So these are the variations we can see. Now coming, and now we are going to see the vertical distribution of the ocean salinity. So the vertical distribution. So we have the ocean, these are the polar regions, these are the equatorial regions. For example, let's say that in the upper reaches of the ocean, let's say this is the surface of ocean. So at the surface of ocean, this region has salinity more, but this region has salinity less. So at the surface, there is variation in the salinity. But with increase in height, this region would gain some salinity. This at this height, this is less and this is more. But moving down, what happens is it would gain some salinity and this would reduce some salinity, and ultimately both of them will reach at the same salinity, and at the deeper points salinity of both the points will be same. It will be homogeneous. So going down, the polar regions would gain salinity, and going down in case of equatorial regions, it would reduce salinity. So that is why at some point we would be going to see the homogeneous distribution. Now the next one, we are going to see different layers in the ocean. So the layers are mostly, the first one is pelagic. The second one we have is halocline. Third one we have is benthic. These are the various layers which are present in the ocean. So we can see the depth of them. Let's say it is at 1500 meter. It is further around 5000 meters. It is 6000 meters. Going down, these are the names of different layers in the ocean. So based on these layers, as we have seen in the previous diagram, that going to the depth, there is some variation in the salinity. So in case of pelagic, this variation is there. I mean to say that if it is 90 degree and 0 degree, here more salinity, uh, here lesser salinity, here more salinity at the surface. But later on, and it will reduce some salinity, and ultimately homogeneous would be said. So in case of pelagic layer, we are going to see some variations. Only in case of pelagic layer we are going to see in the variation. But going to the halocline or the benthic layer, it will be homogeneous. This is how various layers are present, and we are going to see the difference. So the layer of difference, if we are going to select, it is only pelagic. Salinity in the deeper parts is always same. Now we are going to see the latitudinal, and now we are going to look at the latitudinal distribution of salinity. So the latitudinal distribution, 0 degree latitude, 30 degree latitude, 60 degree latitude, and 90 degree latitude. This equatorial region would be receiving more rainfall than the tropical regions. That is why the salinity of the tropical regions would be more than the salinity of equatorial regions. So tropical regions would be having more salinity compared to the equatorial regions. But from the tropical regions towards the pole, the salinity would reduce. From equator to tropical region, salinity increased. But from tropical to the poles, the salinity would reduce. Let us say that here salinity is 30%, here it is say 38%, then here it would be 36, here it would be 30 for example. So the salinity of the polar regions is least, but salinity of tropical would be maximum, as lesser amount of rainfall in the tropical regions compared to the equatorial regions. I hope you understand the topic well. Thank you for watching.